Hello everyone, welcome to today's video, and today we're gonna go over 15 villains I think could be a good fit for the Batman 2. And I'm gonna try to keep a spoiler for the Batman as small as possible, but there might be some spoilers, so with that out of the way, let's get started. Coming up first is the one I think is least likely to happen, and that is the ventriloquy. I'm sorry, I can't really pronounce that correctly, so I'm just gonna say Scarface. I don't think he's gonna be in this movie. I could be wrong, but I don't see that they're going to introduce him. And if they do, that he will not be a main villain. He will probably just be a small, maybe starting villain, maybe, but nothing more, so I'm not gonna talk much more about him. What I can say about him is that he's not that well of a popular character. I don't think he's that good of a villain. He's just a guy with mental problem, and I don't think he's so fascinating. So that is all of the reason why I think he will probably not. But I do think he has a possibility if they want to introduce a character with just mental illness, that maybe not a villain but have a small role. But I don't think he's gonna have anything more than a small role if he's gonna be in the Batman 2. So that's that. Coming up as number 14 is Black Mask. Now, Black Mask is a character that I can see ending up in this movie, but again I can also see that the character been used a lot lately, so they might not want to use him. I can see this is a character that can go either way, but if I to be honest, I would like to see Black Mask being some maybe teased in the Batman and not being fully shown just yet. But if they do decide to use him, I do think he can make for a great villain. And I do like that maybe having a little bit of combination of how he was in Bird of Prey and how he was in Batwoman. He may be a guy out for revenge, but has the same dislike for women, because that is something I think his character had done well in that movie. That all the main heroes in Birds of Prey was women, and he really didn't like women that well. He was mistreating them, and if we have a little bit of combination of that, maybe not take it to the extreme, but having be a little more of an asshole towards female and not directly evil towards them, that could be maybe a great idea. But I don't know. But I do believe that the revenge factor could play a good role. After all, revenge is a pretty understanding motive, even though we don't agree with it. So if you can make Black Mask have some sympathy to him, then maybe his character can work well. Similar to the two previous incarnations, but also different. That is what I would like to see if they decide to use Black Mask. Coming up as number 13 is Hugo Strange. Now, I really like Hugo Strange as a character. I've seen him in almost every media of the Batman. I've seen him in Gotham and see him in all the other animated shows. And every time I see him, I feel like both the actor and the writing has done well. I really think that he should be in the Batman 2 or in Matt Reeves the Batman in general. I don't think he should be a main villain because I don't think he's a physical threat to Batman. Some of you may argue that Riddler wasn't a physical threat to Batman either, but there's a difference. Hugo Strange is a psychiatrist, while Riddler is a psychopath obsessed with riddle. Neither of them is particularly strong people, but they're both intelligent. But the difference is that the Riddler is a psychopath with mental problem. Hugo Strange doesn't really have mental problem. He's just a bit psychotic, a psychopath, and that is the difference. Again, I don't think he should be a main villain, maybe a secondary villain, or maybe a minor villain, but I can't see him be a main villain. Coming up as number 12 is Professor Pig. Now, this psychopath is a character that could show up in the Batman 2 if Batman 2 is going to have a bit of horror in it. We know that is the start of the first Batman in Matt Reeves' universe. It was almost a bit of a horror scene when Ridley just stood there and was watching the character. So that was actually pretty horrifying in my opinion. Now if they want to go even more horror, Professor Pig might be the right character to use. He's a complete psychopath and he may just be as psychotic as the Joker. Someone will say that isn't possible, but trust me, he's not far behind. The fact that he is a butcher is a great thing because you can introduce it as that he used to be a butcher in a shop or something, a grocery shop maybe, who knows. But I do think that having him as a butcher could be a good idea. And of course I don't think he should be the main villain, but maybe a smaller antagonist. Yes, maybe. If they go full horror movie in the Batman 2, I could see him be the main villain, but if not, I could not. And I do think the character is great, and I only see the character in the series TV show Gotham, so and in some animated version, but I have never seen it in a live action movie. So seeing they introduce him now, a character that has never been shown in a live action movie, could be a really great move. Coming up as a number 11 is Clayface. Now, I realize that Clayface may be one of the most difficult to do in the Batman universe, but maybe he can be a villain that uses acid, and I don't really sure how acid really damage the face. I know it can do a lot of damage, but I don't really know what's happened. I'm not really good at that, but maybe they can make him that kind of villain. Again, I do believe this is difficult. This is just me really hoping. I really like Clayface as a villain. I think he's a great villain. I do believe he deserves a shot of a live action movie as the main villain, of course. So that is merely the only reason I want him. Coming up as number 10 is Talos. Now this one will be part of the Court of Owl, and I'm gonna talk about them later, but I really like Talos as a character. I feel like he's one of the characters that is able to match Batman move for move. He's a martial artist, and so is Bruce Wayne. Seeing him go up against Batman in live action will be something I really would like to hope for. And yes, I do actually believe that the Court of Owl will show up in the Matt Reeves universe. I maybe not know when, but if I'm lucky, they will show up in the sequel. But if not, they will show up in the Batman 3, the Batman 4, or whatever. I do believe they're going to show up, and I'm not going to talk really much about him because he can't be in the Batman universe if the Court of Owls is not. So that is why I'm going to talk more about him with the Court of Owls. Coming up as number 9 is the Court of Owls. Since I mentioned Talos last, you probably knew I was going to talk about the Court of Owls as well. And Those are actually some of my favorite Batman villains because they are a group of corrupt people that have shaped Gotham's history since Gotham's foundation. And that is why I like this group so much. Everyone that has read the new Batman comics from the new 52 and further, and maybe seen Batman vs. Robin movie, will know about this group. I really can't wait to see if the Court of Owls will be in the Batman 2. I know it will be in Matt Reeves' universe, but I don't know when. Or I'm not gonna claim that I know, I'm sorry I said it that way, but I'm certain that they will be in Matt Reeves' universe at some point or another. Coming up as number 8 is none other than TwoFace, or Harvey Dent if you would like. But TwoFace is a character I always liked, and that is mostly the reason. I want to see what Matt Reeves wants to do if he wants to use TwoFace. Will he have the same thing that he was a lawyer who went bad, that kind of route, or will he go another type of route? I'm not sure, but either way I want to see Two-Face as a gangster, maybe hint at his origin, but having already be a gangster. Maybe he can be the main villain of the Batman too? Who knows? But this is just some small idea I have, and I'm not gonna talk so much about Two-Face. Coming up as number 7 is Thomas Elito, aka Hush. No, I'm going to be honest, this is just wishful thinking. I just hope that he will be introduced in the Matt Reeves universe, but honestly I don't think it will happen in the Batman 2. But I'm hoping for it. Hush is one of my favorite Batman villains. He at least is on a top 10 list, maybe a top 20, I'm not quite sure, but he is one of my favorite villains, and I really want to see him entering the Batman universe or Matt Reeves universe, but I don't think it will happen in the Batman 2. But seeing him going up against Bruce Wayne in live action will be a dream come true. I really like that he and Bruce is similar and also different at the same time. That is what I really like about him. For some of you who aren't that well, Tommy Elito was Bruce Wayne's childhood friend, so that could bring in some connection right there. So not only does he have a personal connection to Bruce Wayne, but he also will be able to, well, to go toe to toe with him. So there is more than reason to why I want him, but if I was going to go over all of them, this video won't be long enough. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Coming up at number 6 is Mad Hatter. The only reason why I have him higher than Hush and Two-Face is because I can see a little what they might do with him. They might turn him into someone that can hypnotize other people. Maybe he used to work as that kind of work. And not really remember what that kind of work is called. So I'm not gonna pretend to try and say it, but having someone that can hypnotize people might make him a great villain. I don't think he deserves to be a main villain, but having been someone who not only is a complete psychopath but also can hypnotize people could make him a bit of a scary villain. I'm not really quite sure what else they will do with him if they're gonna use him. Maybe he has a tragic backstory or something, but I really would like to see him in the Matt Reeves universe. But again, this is also just because like I said, seeing someone that can hypnotize others to kill people or kill themselves makes him a bit scary villain. is the prime reason why I added him as number 6. Coming up as number 5 is Firefly. Now the reason why I only add him as number 5 is because I'm not sure what thing is with the Batgirl movie, if it's going to be a movie of her or not. After all this with Warner Brothers being bought or whatever it's called, I'll honestly not pay too much attention to it. Rather keep working on some theory about certain things. So, but if Firefly is going to be in the Batgirl, then I hope they do him right. But if not, I could see him being in the Batman too. But I can't see him as a main villain. I do believe that that will belong to another character, but just seeing Firefly in the Matt Reeves universe will be awesome. I'm really not gonna talk much about him because I feel like that most of you know why I would want him. I'm really big fan of Firefly. I think he's a great character. Although he's not one of my favorite characters, I still believe he's cool. I don't think he needs to be a main villain to be a popular villain. Coming up as number 4 is Scarecrow. Now I really, and I mean really, want to see Scarecrow in the Matt Reeves universe. I don't care if he's in the second Matt Reeves Batman movie, in the Batman 2, but I do hope to see him in the Matt Reeves universe. I really think that he can do something incredibly awesome and scary with Scarecrow. Let's see that he's a psychopath that uses some toxic to scare people, that make people hallucinate. That is technically how his character works, but make it a way grounded way. There's lots of drugs that I heard that can make people hallucinate, and if they can find a way to make that more realistic in this universe, then I will be all for Scarecrow. He's not on my top 10 favorite Batman villains, but he would have been on my top 20 villains if I was going to make that. He's an awesome character. He can be a bit of a scary character. I do believe that having him in the Matt Reeves universe would be a really great idea. If he is in the second Batman movie, in the Batman 2, then I don't see him as a main villain, more like a secondary villain. But if he's not in that movie, can see him be a main villain in a later movie down the line, or in one of the spin-off shows like the Penguin or that Arkham show. So Scarecrow in the Matt Reeves universe, I'm hoping. Coming up as number 3 is none other than Poison Ivy. Now I realize that she may be a difficult character because of her powers, but I do think that if you remove her power and keeping the fact that she is an eco-terrorist, could be a great way. Again, you don't need a power to make her a great character. Just keep her love for nature and have her a way to weaponize maybe a few toxic plants that she somehow make into weapons, like toxic dark, toxic bullets, or whatever could work. Poison Ivy is one of my favorite characters. She would have been on a top 10 list if I'm gonna make a top 10 Batman villains. And again, I really like her, but I have seen her in a previous live action movie, and to be honest, that movie sucked. If I was to be honest, she might have been number 2. If it not for that, I can't help but think about that movie. But to be honest, I do think the right actor, the right director could make this great. Matt Reeves could make her a great character, and if she do so, I would like her to be the main villain, not someone of villain, not a secondary villain, but the main villain, if they decide to use her instead of my number one pick. So yes, Poison Ivy in the Batman 2, maybe. Coming up as number 2 is a character that is hard to get wrong, and that is Joker. The Joker, I'm gonna say it, my favorite Batman villain. I do believe that even if he's not the main villain, that I'm really sure that he will show up in the Batman 2, because he was in the Batman post-credit scene. So to me he is almost confirmed. I would really like to see the Matt Reeves version of the Joker. I'm not remembering the name of the actor or which actor that is playing him, so I'm sorry for that, but either way. And if you wonder why I'm not using pictures that show the Matt Reeves version of Joker, that is because I'm still a little bit worried about copyright problems. I'm trying to avoid those kind of problems, so that is why. But Joker, complete psychopath, pure evil, what can you not like about him? And the fact that he is different from all the other Jokers. He is born with his skin and his permanent smile. So that is maybe a bit more dark than the other, that this is all something he has been born with, and that makes me even more excited. I hope they can make him as intelligent as Matt Reeves' Batman or Robert Pattinson's Batman. I hope they can make him a great villain. I really want to see what they're going to do with him. Coming up as number 1 is Mr. Freeze. I made a video about why I think Mr. Freeze should be the villain of the Batman 2. I will leave a link to that video in the description and maybe put it on the video as well. But the thing is, I'm not going to go too deep into this, because again, I made a whole nother video just for this one. So if you want to know more about that, go check out that video. But Mr. Freeze, I still believe, is the perfect choice for a villain for the Batman 2. And not that doesn't come from the fact that he only had one other live action movie appearance who was awful, but because the character is great, his motivation is great, his character development is great. If you can find a way to do your own thing with him, I surely believe that Matt Reeves can make a sympathetic Mr. Freeze, or just right say great villain of Mr. Freeze. If he's sympathetic or not, who knows, but at least a really great villain. I'm not going to talk too much more about him. And that's it for this video. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know in the comment section down below. And like, share, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.